Picture a world with no language, no words at all, no names for things, no way to describe what you saw, no way to warn anyone about what you found, no way to pass on anything you learned, just silence, gesture, and the present moment. This is what most people imagine when they think about early human life: grunting, pointing, simple emotion, a world that looks a lot like the world of great apes today. Here's the problem with that picture. Homo sapiens, our species, have existed for roughly 300,000 years, and the evidence suggests we had language for almost all of it. Not simplified language, not grunts with grammar attached. Actual, structured, complex language, capable of describing things that weren't present, events that hadn't happened yet, people who were far away, and ideas that had no physical form at all. The question isn't how ancient humans survived without talking. They didn't survive without talking. They talked almost the entire time. The question is, what did talking let them do? Language isn't something humans invented. It's something the human brain evolved to produce, the way bird wings evolved to fly. And once it existed, it changed what a human being was capable of so completely that nothing on Earth has ever been quite the same. The problem with studying ancient language is simple. You cannot dig up a word. You cannot date a sentence. The sounds ancient humans made have been gone for 300,000 years. So how do we know they had language? The anatomy of speech is ancient. The hyoid bone, a small bone in the throat that anchors the muscles controlling the tongue and voice, is identical in modern humans and in Neanderthals, dated to 60,000 years ago. The physical infrastructure for complex speech was in place from very early in our species' existence. But anatomy isn't the same as language. Having the equipment doesn't mean using it for symbolic communication. The more compelling evidence comes from behavior. Blombos Cave in South Africa, roughly 100,000 years ago. Ochre processing kits, abstract engravings, shell beads. These are not the products of an animal operating only in the present moment. They are the products of something that can think about representation, about shared meaning, about how something looks to someone else. That kind of thinking requires language, or something so close to language that the distinction stops mattering very quickly. And then there's this. A slow-reproducing, medium-sized primate with no claws, no thick hide, no speed, no venom, became the most consequential species in the history of the planet. Something gave them an edge so large it cannot be explained by biology alone. That something is language. And here's what it actually did. The most fundamental difference between human language and all other animal communication is one word: displacement. The ability to refer to things, places, times, and events that are not present in the immediate environment. A chimpanzee can communicate about food that is directly in front of it. It cannot communicate about food that is 2 days' walk away, that it found last season, or that it believes exists beyond the mountain it has never crossed. Human language can do all three. This is not a minor upgrade. It is a complete transformation in what a mind can do. Displacement means you can plan for a future that doesn't exist yet, warn about a danger you encountered last week that someone else hasn't seen yet, describe a route to a water source you found 3 years ago and might never visit again. Before displacement, every individual had to personally encounter every danger to understand it. With displacement, you could inherit the knowledge of everyone who came before you. 2 people. One has just returned from 2 days away. Without language, gesture, expression, demonstration. With language, there is a water source at the base of the Red Rock Formation, 2 days northeast. After heavy rain, wait 3 days before drinking. The rust color clears, then it's safe. The person listening never has to discover this personally. They inherit it. The knowledge stops dying with individuals and starts accumulating across people and across time. The species became a library. Primates maintain social bonds through physical grooming, picking parasites from each other's fur. It builds trust. It signals alliance. It is the social glue of every primate group on Earth. It also has a hard limit. You can only groom one individual at a time. It requires physical proximity. And as groups get larger, the proportion of time spent grooming increases until it becomes unsustainably large. Robin Dunbar at the University of Oxford spent decades researching the relationship between primate brain size and social group size. His research established that human social groups naturally stabilize at around 150 people. 150 people is too many to physically groom. Language, Dunbar argues, evolved as the solution. You can maintain a relationship with someone who isn't physically present. You can groom multiple people simultaneously by talking to them. And the content of that social grooming, the thing that maintains bonds and builds trust, is information about what other people are doing, who they are, what they value, how they behave, whether they can be trusted. In other words, gossip. The first human technology wasn't fire, it was gossip. And it worked so well that 150 people could function as one group, coordinating, trusting, sharing resources across distances and time frames that no other primate has ever managed. The human brain does not store information the way a hard drive stores files. It stores information preferentially in narrative structures, sequences of causally connected events, characters, stakes, resolution. This is not a design flaw. It is an adaptation to a world where all information was transmitted orally. Ancient humans had no writing for roughly 296,000 of their 300,000 years. Everything they knew, survival knowledge, genealogies, maps, seasonal patterns, social histories, technological sequences, had to be encoded in forms the human brain could reliably store and retrieve. Narrative, rhythm, song, repetition. These are not entertainment formats. They are memory technologies. Australian Aboriginal songlines are the most extensively documented example. Oral navigation systems encoding geographical information across thousands of kilometers, transmitted across hundreds of generations without writing, accurate enough to be cross-referenced with modern geological surveys conducted thousands of years after the songs were composed. An elder teaching a young person a song. The song describes a sequence of landmarks: a rock formation shaped like a crouching figure, a river that bends east twice before meeting another river, a cave that stays dry even in heavy rain with a spring nearby. The young person thinks they're learning a song. They are learning a map. The song format is not decorative, it's functional. The rhythm makes it easier to memorize. The imagery makes it harder to forget. The repetition makes it more accurate over time, not less. This is not a primitive precursor to GPS. This is a memory technology so sophisticated that it can transmit accurate geographical information across hundreds of human generations without losing precision. GPS requires electricity. This just requires a voice. Ancient humans didn't have a database. They were the database. And the operating system was story. Two strangers, different groups, never met, no common relatives, no shared history, no reason to trust each other. But they share a belief, a story about something that happened before either of them was born, involving beings neither of them has ever seen, that explains why certain rules exist and why they apply to everyone who knows the story. That shared story means they have something in common with every other person who knows it, even people they've never met, even people on the other side of a mountain range. The historian Yuval Noah Harari calls this intersubjective reality, things that exist not in the physical world, but in the shared space between minds. Gods, laws, nations, money. None of these things exist the way a rock or a river exists. They exist because large numbers of people collectively believe they exist and act as if they do. You cannot show a chimpanzee a $20 bill and have it understand the concept of money. You cannot explain a legal system to a lion. These things exist only in language. They are language made solid by collective agreement. And the ability to create and share these fictions, these shared beliefs about invisible things, is what allowed humans to cooperate in groups of thousands, then millions, then billions. No other animal has ever coordinated at this scale, not even close. Language didn't just let humans communicate, it let them cooperate with strangers. And that is the thing that changed everything. Here's the number that changes everything you just heard: 3,200 BCE. That's when the earliest confirmed writing system appears, Sumerian cuneiform in what is now Iraq. Marks pressed into wet clay tablets. The first external record of human knowledge. Homo sapiens have existed for roughly 300,000 years. Writing has existed for roughly 5,200 years. For approximately 296,000 of our 300,000 years, over 98% of human existence, there was no written record of anything. Everything humans knew, every map, every route, every story, every relationship history, every piece of survival knowledge ever accumulated existed only in spoken language, and in the memories of the people who carried it. When those people died, everything they knew that hadn't been told to someone else died with them. Every night, for 296,000 years, the entire accumulated knowledge of the human race was one generation away from total loss. The only thing standing between extinction of knowledge and survival of knowledge was a person talking to another person before it was too late. Writing is the footnote. Language is the whole book. You're back at that image, the silence, the grunts, the pointings, the picture most people carry of ancient human life. And now you know how wrong it is. The ancient world was full of language, richer, more carefully maintained, more urgently transmitted than almost anything most modern people experience daily. What changed isn't the language. What changed is that we now have external storage, books, recordings, the internet. We no longer need to carry everything in our heads. The urgency of oral transmission, which drove ancient humans to tell each other everything every night around a fire, has been replaced by the ability to search for it. But the human brain hasn't changed. It still stores narrative better than data. It still learns best from stories. It still passes the things it cares most about through conversation, not documentation. The ancient technology is still the one that works best. We just forgot we were using it. For 296,000 years, everything humans knew about the world lived in one place, inside the people who knew it. When those people died, the knowledge died with them, unless they had told someone first. That's why they told each other everything. That's why they still do.